Hi, I'm Nina, and I am putting SurferSEO's one-click AI writer through its paces. I am challenging it to write 7 different common travel blog articles and seeing how it handles it. So today we are doing a comparison keyword. So X versus Y. This is not a travel specific keyword like in structure. Every niche has these. They're especially common for affiliates. However, I wanted to make this a little bit easier on the AI. I've been a little harsh. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a city versus another city and let's see how it handles it. So that's what we're doing today. We are going to test SurferSEO's one-click AI writer on Montreal versus Quebec City and see how it actually gives us an output for that and if it's usable. As a reminder, I've been doing this 7-part series, so this is number 5, I believe, in the series. Yes, number 5 of 7, where I've been giving it a different keyword each time to see how it handles these things. Part 7 is going to be the best part. You're really going to want to stick around for that. It's going to be, we're going to challenge a bunch of different AI writers to do the same keyword and see which one's going to win. We have SurferSEO's one-click AI, we have Koala Writer, we have Jasper, ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4, and WriterZen. So we're going to have 6 different AIs competing to see who has the best output and which one is actually the best for bloggers. Comparing a bunch of different things as well on the back end of pricing, usability, all that stuff, customizability. But I'm super excited to see which one wins, and I really hope you guys are too. So feel free to like and subscribe so you get alerted when that's live. And for now, we are going to see whether Surfer thinks Montreal or Quebec City is better. Okay, I thought we would do another type of keyword, if it will let me click. There we go. So we're gonna do a city versus another city. I think this is like versus keywords. What just happened there? Jeez. Okay. Versus keywords can be a really good opportunity for travel blogs. So let's see how it handles a comparison. These are both large cities that are really well known and pretty close to each other. They do have similarities. They also have significant differences. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, so we've got our outline. We're gonna just let it auto the SERP and see like what the tone of voice ends up being. Live life on the edge. Why not? So anti-AI detection, we're going to keep that off because content score, I don't care if that gets lowered. I more so care about the like natural language, and the content detectors for like AI detection are not good. So it's fine. I also found like the more updates they're doing to them, the worse they're getting. So yeah, I've stopped using them. Okay, so down here, we're going to select which ones to include. We've got a lot of good options here. So first of all, I can see that it's actually in the title. I know a lot of these blogs, so I know like that their content is quite good. So we are going to pull a number of them. I think even like the cost of living is a good one to have. But then this one is like best places to visit. That's not as helpful. So we've got a fair number that we can include. They say to pick at least 5. We've got more than that. So I feel optimistic, confident. I mean, none of the above, but let's see how it happens. So we'll create the outline. It is currently 11:21. So let's see how long it takes. Okay, we're back. So we've got the outline. So comparing Quebec City versus Montreal, which should you visit in 2023? Not an amazing title, not the worst, so we'll keep it for now. And then they decided to break it down by like historical highlights, size and atmosphere, old towns, outdoor adventure, cultural delights, language and culture, transportation and accessibility, accommodation options. I think it's interesting that like partway through it just gives up on the colon structure and just like ditches it, but then comes back. Not really sure why it decided to do it that way. I'm going to do this one not looking at the competitors because I just want to see on its surface, do I think it's going to satisfy user intent? Now, I think it probably will. We got historic stuff, size and atmosphere. I think the old towns and historical kind of are quite similar, but whatever. Outdoor adventures, food, language, transportation, accommodation. I would probably want to like consider cost and things like that too. So I am just going to add cost of living and then we'll see what happens. I don't know how good it is at picking up on monetary things like that, but let's give it a go and we'll see what happens. So it is 11:25. Let's see how long this takes, and I will see y'all soon. Okay, so 11:38, and we are back with the post. I think it's an interesting way to start with the age-old debate. I don't think there's really an age-old debate, but I mean, this is the best intro we've had. I think this is, I kind of like the way that the SERP showed up in just the weirdest tone of voice here. But yeah, before we dive into that just caught my eye immediately. Let's take a look at the optimization. So it's 95 out of 100. That's really high. We'll see how it goes. 2,500 words. So I do think we're seeing again and again that 3,000 is kind of the upper limit, but it seems 2,000 to 3,000 is where it sticks. We have 21 headings, 46 paragraphs, random image placements. The must words that it has, we have Quebec City with and without the accent, so basically the same term. Different things about different variations of city, basically. A couple different things in the places. I would say a lot of these interesting ones here, to me, are the ones that would be a bit, I'm sad that they didn't include them because I think they would add a better perspective and more unique perspective. It definitely really loves to optimize for the general keywords as much as it can. So let's dive in. Okay. The age-old debate, Quebec City or Montreal. So not quite the keyword, but pretty close. These two jewels of Eastern Canada, I don't know that I would call it Eastern Canada, because to me that's the Atlantic provinces, but meh. Each offer their own unique charms and experiences, making the decision of where to visit a challenging one. But fear not, dear traveler, for we have explored both cities firsthand. Oh, it's just such a weird, dear traveler makes me feel like we're in the 1800s. And are here to help you navigate the best of what each has to offer in our Quebec City versus Montreal comparison. In this comprehensive Quebec City-Montreal guide, we will dive into the historical highlights, size, and atmosphere. So I like that it talks about what we're going to look at, but it doesn't give any specifics. And then I think the sit back, relax, and let us guide you, this almost sounds like the start to a Disney ride or something. It's very old school language, very dramatic. I don't know. I'm not loving the tone, but that's my fault for selecting SERP and risking it. But yeah. I also just feel again, I really wish that there was the option to select what narrative style you want, because this is a singular person site. So I run everything. So we is just it always defaults to that, and I don't really enjoy it. I think the short summary is not helpful here. I mean, it doesn't give you any actual information on either one. And I think that largely is because the short summary is written based off the intro. So if it was written at the end of the post, having seen what else is there, it would generate better. I do think it's following from the intro here, so it doesn't have any of those specifics to pull from. That's a guess. I don't know for sure, but based on what I've been seeing, it doesn't seem to be able to pick up on the specifics we see elsewhere. Okay, so the historical highlights. Both have plenty to offer. Quebec's Old Town is a UNESCO heritage site, only fortified city in North America, that's true. Charming cobblestone streets, colorful facades, and stunning historic buildings. As you stroll the streets of Old Quebec, you'll feel like you step back in time, transported to a European city on the east coast of Canada. That's all true. Montreal, on the other hand, is a diverse city that perfectly blends its French colonial roots with modern attractions. From the historic structures in Old Montreal to the bustling downtown core, the city has a rich and varied history that begs to be explored. As you walk along the St. Lawrence River, you'll appreciate the blend of old and new that makes Montreal such a unique and captivating destination. I quite like that. I think I would have wanted a bit more specifics for something like this. I'd probably want the year they were each founded. I know from firsthand experience, Quebec City is the oldest grocery store in Canada. It's super cute. Went with my grandma when I was younger, so I would throw that in. That's not something it necessarily needs to have, but we want those personal bits, which we know that a one-click is not going to have. But that's a nice thing with AI writers that you can write with, is you can tell them that experience and it'll build it in. So I think that's a pretty good start. So size and atmosphere. Well, both cities are located in the Quebec province. It's a bit awkward, but that's fine. They have distinct atmospheres. Quebec City, with its population, I'd have to double check that number, is smaller and more intimate. I know that's true because it is physically smaller, so they just don't have as many people, offering a cozy atmosphere that attracts many visitors. The charm of the city is evident in its European-style architecture and cobblestone streets. I just don't know that, like, cobblestone matters that much to people. And, like, it's also talking about, like, the romantic getaway. I think it is a romantic getaway, but the cozy atmosphere, I'm not 100% sure I agree with that. I think it's okay, but whatever. I'm getting nitpicky. Montreal, with a much larger population, I have to double check the number, is larger and more urban, boasting a vibrant and diverse city vibe, from the trendy neighborhoods of Mile End and the Plateau to the lively nightlife and amazing food scene. Wide range of experiences, hustle and bustle of a big city. This is the thing that I don't like. It's like, so when comparing them, consider your preference. No, we want to say, so Quebec City is best for this type of person, Montreal is best for this type of person. And that's definitely missing here, is any concrete decisions. And I think that is because, like, it's just pulling general information. It doesn't want to make a decision either way. What I really like with Jasper is that I could have in the first one said that and then continued going and, like, had the best for section of, like, what each one's best for, and it would have known to keep doing that. It's, again, to me, a limitation of the one click that I really can't get over, because it's really frustrating to have it go down a path you don't want it to go down and you can't change it. And unlike Koala, where you can see it start and then you can stop it and be like, oh no, it's going down the wrong way, I need to adjust the outline, I can't do that here. So it really could have gone completely off the rails. Now, if you do, like, go to the bottom and report it and say this was, like, terribly written, it will let you rerun it for free. I don't think that massively helps if it just turns out that, like, the keyword is the problem and it just can't do that type of keyword. But it does mean you can edit the outline. However, you still don't really get to control, like, what it's doing in each section. And I'm a control freak, so that frustrates me. Okay, so exploring Old Town. Got all the charm, you wander the streets, myriad of cozy shops and cafes. I would love some examples. Old Town of Quebec, or Montreal, is not as well preserved, still offers a unique blend of old and new. So this is, like, then it has, like, the Notre Dame and then the Jacques Cartier Square. I don't pronounce that. My French is terrible. So, like, that's what I would then like to see up here a bit more. Even talking about, like, the funicular that gets you between upper and lower towns would be good. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good generalization. It does feel like kind of each of these sections is almost like an intro to the section and never gets to, like, the meat of it, really. Okay, so outdoor activities, we've got skiing, ice skating, the ice hotel. I thought the ice hotel was in Montreal. I have to double check that. Okay, ferry ride during the summer. I was going to say, I'm like, that's an interesting jump in the winter. Biking, botanical garden, cruise in the St. Lawrence. Yep, those are okay. It's interesting that, like, Montreal, it really sticks with summer, where it does winter with Quebec City as well. So again, an opportunity for it to say, so if you're looking for winter activities, go to Quebec City. In summer, go to Montreal. It doesn't do that. So food, definitely, French cuisine is so good. So we got poutine and maple syrup, 100%. I would also say, like, fondue is really big. Like, my sister lives in Montreal with her partner, and they make the best food. It's so good. But, like, I think this is a little bit general in terms of, like, the types of food that they have. And then it dives really deep into Montreal, but doesn't really dive into Quebec City here. So I feel like it kind of missed out on Quebec City. But again, it just says city is known for its traditional French cuisine. So, like, we have one of those weird glitches again, which is just another reason why we always edit AI. So language and culture, I mean, they're both French, so they're both francophone. Montreal is definitely more bilingual for sure. Not by a ton, because Quebec City is also very bilingual, but it's because more people work in Montreal. And it doesn't mention that, it doesn't mention the reasoning. But I think that section's kind of, it's okay. Okay, so we've got airport, train station, metro. Additionally, Montreal has bike lanes. Quebec City, on the other hand, has a somewhat confusing bus system, doesn't have a metro, but it's very walkable. Again, doesn't mention the cool funicular. That's really a fun thing. Also, don't drive in Quebec. Quebec drivers are insane. They're terrifying. Montreal has like a stop sign literally like every 500 feet. It's like ridiculous. So probably actually smaller than that. Like I'm not good with distances, but like they're everywhere and the drivers are ridiculous. It's horrible. Don't drive there. So accommodation, it doesn't specify a hotel for either one, even though like Quebec City has a really famous Fairmont that is very well known. It never mentions it. And Montreal has like tons of beautiful hotels. So it just tells you like something super general. So I think this one's really bad. I feel like it really does anything vaguely affiliate, it runs away from. Nightlife, yeah, definitely Montreal is better and it makes that pretty clear. But then at the end, it goes with this, like, it'll depend on your preference. Well, if your preference isn't for nightlife, then, like, clearly, like, if you really want, like, full-on parties, you'll go to Montreal. If you don't, you'll go to Quebec City, period. Like, just ridiculous to me. Okay, so we've got, we got Jazz Fest, we got Picnic Electronic. So we got 2 festivals. We have Carnival and just Carnival for the other one. Fine, there are definitely more that happen in each place, but whatever. Okay, it does actually list a museum for each one. It's a bit more even. This one definitely, the sections are all more equal, which is good. I think the family-friendly one is a really good section that does go into a lot of stuff. Cost of living. So this is the one I added. Let's see. So it says Quebec City is 19% more affordable than Montreal. I would love to know where it got that stat. Like, where is that coming from? And that's what I really love about Koala, is that it will like link those things. Or for something like Jasper, ChatGPT, like you can in the chat ask where it got that, but also like you typically feed it that information so you'd know where it came from. Because I have no idea where that came from, so I don't know if it's true or not. It's also still focusing on travelers, which is another thing, is I never got to specify who my audience is. So comparing them for living versus comparing them for visiting are 2 very different things. I have kind of confused it here by adding in cost of living when it was clearly thinking more about visitors. Yeah, so like, I don't know. I'm not sure that anything I did would have changed it from visitors to locals anyway, but yeah, so and this is the thing, it's like it stays really in the visiting sphere here and it never gives an exact amount. And then it says use our salary comparison tool. I don't have one of those. Like, where's that coming from? So I think that was a very poor section. Now this is the longest conclusion we've had by far. So let's see. In conclusion, both Quebec City and Montreal offer unique and unforgettable experiences. Why does it always say that? Making them must-visit destinations in Eastern Canada. From the charming cobblestone streets of Quebec City's Old Town to the bustling downtown core of Montreal. Each city has its own distinct atmosphere, attractions, and cultural identity. Ultimately, the choice will depend on your personal preference. No! Like, give us an answer. Which is better? So it's like whether you prefer the intimate charm of Quebec City or the vibrant urban life of Montreal. There's no doubt that each place will hold a special place in your heart. Blah, blah, blah. No. So this has never answered the question. It has given a bunch of extra information to kind of confuse someone, but we haven't told anyone anything significant here, which is problematic. So then we have, is Montreal or Quebec City better? Again, just wishy-washy nonsense. How is Quebec City different than Montreal? Yeah, that's fair. Kind of older school, more charming and historic. Do they speak English in Quebec City? Yep. Is Quebec City friendly to Americans? Bit long, but fine. Main difference between Quebec City and Montreal in terms of history? That's not the main difference. That's the modern historical difference. It's not the main historical difference. So yeah, I don't love this. I think this is a D. Maybe not a full fail, but not barely a passing grade. Because there's still a lot that has to change. There's no definitives here at all. And that's problematic. Like, that's not helping people. That's not giving them enough information. And this is the kind of AI writing that like makes people think AI is crap, to be honest, where like it just vaguely states some facts that are on the top 10 and gives no actual information, doesn't really answer the question that someone is clearly asking here. And yeah, and I also think like, especially for the title that it gave me, looking back, I'm surprised it in the outline didn't give me a section that was like the verdict. And I kind of thought it might do that in the conclusion, so I didn't add it, but it didn't. So there's still like a lot of work here that has to happen. It's kind of, like I said, it feels like it introduced each section, but never finished the job. And that leaves me with like SEO blue balls, and I don't want to have that. So yeah, still not finding a use case where I can justify ever using this tool again. And yeah, super frustrating to keep doing these and keep finding poor results, which is unfortunate. So use at your own risk, but you will probably suffer from SEO blue balls too, and I don't think that's great. So yeah, we have more of these coming. There are more of them already on the channel, so like and subscribe for more use cases for Surfer's AI and for other AI writers and more SEO tips and tricks. And I will see you soon. Bye.